When I first learned about this story, this was about 6 months ago. And when you listen to the details of this particular story, it is straight out of a Lifetime movie, right? Now, I'm going to play some videos on this particular platform for commentary. Fair use is in effect. And we're going to play the first video about this. And we're just going to get right to it. DJ, spin that.
Fulton County. Me and Mrs. Hall, we got a thing going on, and it's a much too strong to let it go now. She's using trackers to keep an eye on her crackers. She raised our taxes and doubled her gigolo's salary. It hurts so much, it hurts so much, it hurts so much when we do it on the couch and on the desk and the floor, paid for by the taxpayers. We gotta be extra careful so the chairman don't find out. Me and Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Hall. Your desk mitts put out in the hallway. After all, it's your namesake. So everyone can keep an eye on you.
So, what you saw right there was a viral video that went down a few months ago where a resident was talking about these two individuals right here, Natalie Hall to the left and Calvin Brock to the right. Now, we need to take a trip down memory lane because this story has so many layers, and this is one of the craziest stories I've read. Accusations of sex in the commissioner's office. That's one headline from the sexual harassment hearing involving Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall and her former chief of staff. Calvin Brock took the stand to tell his side of what happened between him and his former boss to the administrative law judge hearing the sexual harassment case. Brock said he started working for Hall in May 2018, days after the two met at a Sandy Springs furniture shop. He testified that he went on from making $60,000 a year as her community outreach manager to $125,000 a year as the chief of staff after this sexual relationship started, first with flirtations from Hall, then with overt sexual advances from her. Brock described the two often having sex on the couch of Hall's Fulton County Commissioner's office, saying she straddled me and got on top of me. That's what Calvin Brock said about Mrs. Hall. He did spoke about working from their homes during the COVID pandemic in 2020, where she would come out of the room naked. Mm-mm-mm. Brock said he feared losing his job, so he went along with it, but he never initiated it. Hall's attorney said the relationship was consensual, even got Brock to admit to, at times, initiating the kissing and touching. They say Hall eventually fired him in September 2020 for unprofessional behavior. So Mrs. Hall, what kind of unprofessional behavior did you fire him for in 2020? That he wouldn't give you that dick no more? Huh? Let's continue on. Brock said she fired him out of jealousy. Brock also testified about finding 3 trackers in his car and his truck. He said Hall put them there and used a GPS and a listening device to spy on him and stalk him. In text messages shown in court, Hall denied ownership of the trackers, but Brock said she eventually fessed up and promised not to put any more on his cars. This is a crazy ass story. So then we go to this situation, right? In September last year, where things got out of order at a Fulton County Commission meeting, when there was a discussion about Natalie Hall having sex with a subordinate in her county office. Hall admitted to it in federal court, but Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. still thought it was inappropriate for the commission to discuss it publicly because it was a personnel matter that was pending litigation. When one of the attorneys gave the green light and said it was legal to discuss publicly, Arrington disrupted the meeting. Commissioner Chair Rob Pitts, Commissioner Khadijah Abdul Rahman, and Commissioner Bob Ellis said Commissioner Arrington was out of order. That didn't stop him from continuously disrupting the meeting for at least 30 minutes. The commissioner ended up voting yes on a resolution to censure Hall for her behavior. Some wanted to even punish her and fire her. Since they didn't have the authority to do so, that's why they did the censor the vote. So they technically couldn't fire her, but they could censor her and strip her of some of her powers and stuff like that. But damn, you out here putting tracking devices in the man's car? Tracking devices, really? And then it was also alleged that she had a burner phone and she was texting him through the burner phone, and that her meddling in this man's affairs caused him to break up with his girlfriend. So this story here was just insane. So let me get this straight. You two were carrying on this thing, this rampant grown-up undressing session. He was making your kitty cat purr. That type of thing, right? He decides to break it off, and out of pure jealousy and other manipulation techniques and power moves that failed and all that, you decide to fire him. All because he not making your kitty cat purr no more, and you got jealous because he wanted to date other women. Can't make this stuff up, man. Can't make this stuff up. We're gonna play some more videos of this thing because this thing was crazy. This thing was crazy. And you're gonna hear for yourself. You're gonna hear for yourself some of the craziness that was going on in this during this encounter. You're gonna hear for yourself of the craziness that was going on. DJ, spin that shit.
This afternoon, Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall has officially been sanctioned by the other members of the board.
So it comes after what's being called an inappropriate relationship with her former chief of staff. So they actually voted to censure her because during court proceedings, Hall acknowledged a sexual relationship with that former staffer. That former employee filed a lawsuit saying once he ended the relationship, he was fired. During Wednesday's commission meeting, residents called for Hall's resignation amid a heated exchange between commissioners and a very colorful public comment section.
No further commercials.
Sir, this, I have to.
Out of order. President Harrington, you're out of order.
Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Hall, Mrs. Hall.
We do not trust her. We don't believe the things that she says because she smirks like it's no apology. She should step down.
Yeah, so a lot happening in that meeting. Commissioner Hall did not address the sanctions against.
A Fulton County Commissioner pleaded the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today when asked under oath if she planted tracking devices in her former chief of staff's cars.
Calvin Brock has sued Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall for sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and back pay. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has been following the story from the beginning. She's at the federal courthouse with today's details.
Well, good evening to you both. The Fulton County Commissioner had her chance to tell her side of the story. She says she and her former chief of staff had a consensual sexual relationship, but she says she didn't fire him. District 4 Commissioner Natalie Hall told the court she hired Calvin Brock just days after meeting him at a Rooms to Go because her team thought he would be a great addition. The commissioner testified several months later the two started having a sexual relationship and that Mr. Brock told her repeatedly that he loved her. But much of Wednesday's testimony centered around what happened once that love was gone and 3 tracking devices Brock claimed Commissioner Hall planted in 2 of his vehicles. In damaging testimony, a Covington police sergeant said he traced the 3 devices back to the manufacturer and determined Commissioner Hall bought all 3. Under cross-examination, Hall's attorneys appear to score points when the sergeant said Mr. Brock did not turn the devices over immediately and delayed contacting police for several months. When questioned about those tracking devices, the commissioner pleaded the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination over 100 times. Brock's attorney said Commissioner Hall only started talking about ending Brock's employment after she listened to conversations he was having with other women. The commissioner said she was done with Brock after he screamed, yelled, and disrespected her in public and told her he was quitting the $125,000 chief of staff job on numerous occasions. The day ended with the former commissioner's director of administration and communications, Robert Kelly, taking the stand. Kelly told the court he believed Commissioner Hall was trying to get rid of Brock and seemed to sexually harass him by making him feel uncomfortable and using demeaning tones at times. Mr. Kelly also testified that the county auditor told Commissioner Hall someone filed an anonymous complaint claiming she was having sex with her chief of staff. Kelly said the auditor told the commissioner he could, quote, make the complaint go away. Mr. Kelly said Commissioner Hall responded, do what you have to. And Mr. Kelly's testimony was critical because he actually worked in the office with both Hall and Brock and could perceivably be more objective. We are reporting live from the federal courthouse. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
All right, thank you for that update, Angelique.
Oh, there's more. There's all right, there's another one I wanted to show y'all. There's another video I wanted to show y'all when it comes to this. This thing crazy, man. This shit crazy.
Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall took the stand again today, this time in her own defense. The District 4 Commissioner told the court her former chief of staff initiated all of the sex they had and reportedly told her he loved not only her, but her 2 sons and even her mother. Calvin Brock has filed an EEOC complaint against Hall and the Fulton County Board of Commissioners claiming sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and back pay. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us from the federal courthouse. She has all the developments from court today. Angelique.
Good afternoon, Christine. Commissioner Natalie Hall is still on the stand right now. She's basically telling the court that she had a close friendship with Calvin Brock, that friendship became a sexual relationship. But she says the two of them had planned to go public and that he was supposed to get another job. Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall, seen here with her mother, told the court her former Chief of Staff, Calvin Brock, initiated all the sexual encounters the two of them had. That is important because Brock is suing Hall for sexual harassment, emotional distress, and wrongful termination. Commissioner Hall says after about a year on the job, the sporadic sex started. But the elected official says the relationship was more than just physical. She told the court Brock started sharing private details of his life with her and introduced her to his children. She even says Brock, who was a veteran, helped her youngest son get in the Navy. In fact, Commissioner Hall says the two of them decided jointly to continue the relationship, make it public, and they agreed that Brock would get another job. But at some point in 2020, during the pandemic, the romance went sour. And she began to question Brock's trust and loyalty to her. She told the court she noticed he was lying about little things and disrespecting her in front of her colleague, Jonesboro Mayor Danya Sartor. Brock claims Hall would not let him in the relationship. He says she became jealous about other women he was dating and even planted 3 tracking devices in his car to monitor his every move. Now, keep in mind, there is no jury, so the judge in this case will make the final decision. We are live at federal court. Angela.
So there's that one. And then there's one more video I wanted to show. Let me see. Because this thing crazy, man. This thing was crazy.
The former chief of staff for a Fulton County commissioner is claiming sexual harassment and wrongful termination. In a lawsuit, Calvin Brock accuses Fulton County's vice chairwoman of planting tracking devices in 2 of his cars to monitor his every move. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor took a closer look at the allegations.
Calvin Brock says he was initially hired by Commissioner Natalie Hall as a community relations manager, but he said he was promoted to chief of staff. He says things started going awry when he says the commissioner forced him into a romantic relationship.
My name is Natalie Hall, and I am your commissioner for Fulton County District 4.
Fulton County Vice Chairwoman and 4th District Commissioner Natalie Hall has been slapped with an equal employment opportunity complaint by her former Chief of Staff, Calvin Brock. Brock says he began working for Hall in May of 2018 and alleges he was, quote, subjected to unwanted sexual advancement by Natalie Hall, Commissioner. End quote. He goes on to claim in his March 4th, 2021 complaint that he was, quote, forced into a relationship for fear of losing his job, and that after he decided to end the relationship, Ms. Hall hid tracking devices in his vehicle to track his personal and professional conversations, which caused a hostile work environment, end quote. Mr. Brock tells me when the pandemic hit, working for Commissioner Hall became extremely difficult because they were working out of her home. And he says many times the rest of the team was not there. Mr. Brock says when he wanted out, the harassment got so bad, he claims Commissioner Hall planted devices in 2 of his cars. He even contacted Covington Police back in December, saying he had found 3 devices placed in his cars without his permission. Detectives tell us 3 devices were reported to them. They are trying to determine who purchased the tools. Covington Police tell Fox 5 the matter is still an open case. Commissioner Hall declined to speak to us about her former chief of staff and his EEOC complaint. She referred our questions to Fulton County Attorney Sue Joe. The Fulton County attorney declined to speak with us about this EEOC complaint, but she did call it a disputed matter. We also tried to talk to the chairman of the Fulton County Commission, Rob Pitts, but he declined as well. Both officials pointed to the fact that they expect litigation after this EEOC complaint. In downtown, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
So that was all when it comes to this particular incident right here. Yeah, this woman here, yeah, she was trying to get in there. And look, it goes without saying, in this era of Me Too and Time's Up and all that, and you got this type of situation going on or whatever like that, you would think that the people that be screaming so loudly about, sexual impropriety and sexual deviancy would lend to offer support to this man. This man said he was sexually harassed by this woman. This woman was pissed off that he decided that, hey, look, this ain't necessarily the best thing for us to be doing. And he decides to stop it. And she used, or should I say misused, her power and fires this man. Now, what if this situation was the other way around? And the only reason I knew about this story was because of the viral video that went down last year about that resident singing that song about me and Mrs. Hall. Now, what if this was the other way around? What if he was the commissioner and she was the former chief of staff, and she alleged that this man here did this to her? This man would get rigged through the freaking coals. But in this situation here that we have now with the Me Too and the Time's Up, only the women are allowed to be victims. Only the women are allowed to garner sympathy, and only the women are allowed to file lawsuits and file criminal charges based on sexual improprieties and other forms of sexual deviancy. But if the man is involved as the victim, which in this scenario here he is the victim, then he gets ridiculed, or he's supposed to take it. He's not supposed to say anything. And that's wrong. That stigma that's being placed out here when it comes to the man is wrong. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have the right to be treated with respect and dignity at your job. When I was in uniform, we always say all the time, you don't shit where you eat at. You don't shit where you eat at. So now the taxpayers are out of $1 million because of this woman's gross misuse of her position. So, I mean, when you listen to this story about the burner, we didn't even talk about the cell phone that was brought up, and that her meddling in this case broke up his relationship with his girlfriend, because she was sending text messages and when the girlfriend was calling, there was a situation where during COVID they was working at her house, and there were many times where it was just her and him at the house. So, and then there was also the situation where she was just coming out and her like bodysuit. This woman here was coming out in her bodysuit. Sometimes probably coming out bucket naked. Sometimes wearing some lingerie. Other times, whatever. So if you're wearing that, Natalie Hall, what you got him wearing? Do you have him wearing his birthday suit? Do you have him wearing just just pajamas? I mean, did you treat the couch at your house and the couch at the commissioner's office like a casting couch? I mean, this thing here is crazy. I mean, what did he do to you to where you were buying tracking devices and putting it on his car and his truck? Damn, he must have been making that kitty cat purr for you to be doing some shit like that. He must have been. You probably was saying, with a big old greasy dick like that, make my pussy jump out my drawers, right? That's the kind of stuff you was doing. What in the hell was he putting on you the way you're buying tracking devices and you're out here tapping his phone? I wouldn't be surprised if you would somehow hack into his emails to see what kind of stuff he was up to. This, I'm telling you, this shit right here was straight out of a Lifetime movie. I don't know anybody that should be subjected to something like this. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, you mean to tell me, of all the men that's in Georgia, I'm not talking about the bussy boys, I'm talking about the real men out there in Georgia. This man was making your kitty cat purr the way you was out there buying tracking devices? 3 of them? And you was buying burner phones? So were there sex toys involved as well? Huh? I'm just asking the question. What kind of freaky shit that was going on the way you were out here doing all this craziness, man? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man, because this story right here, man, for real, if you're not subscribing to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. YouTube don't like sending out notifications or whatever like that, so it is what it is. But shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Ho!